Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News. The headlines. A LUSAKA man abandons wife for giving birth to a child with disability. The UPND dispels claims that President Hakainde Hichilema is plotting to arrest BOWMAN LUSAMBO. Join me with the midday news in detail after this commercial.
Would you like to win some cool cash? Say no more. Stand a chance to win your share of 1 million kwacha. Simply make a transaction from your Zamtel mobile money account and you could be one of weekly winners of up to 10,000 kwacha. Be empowered with Zamtel mobile money. Dial *344# to activate your account. This promotion runs from 28th July to 31st October 2021. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
And now the media news in detail. Agriculture Minister Ruben Tolopiri says government will only pay farmers who have supplied their grains to the Food Reserve Agency when proceeds from the sales of the commodity comes through. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News in Lusaka, the minister says government has already reached its budgeted target of securing 500,000 metric tons of maize and says farmers who want government to purchase their grains should be willing to wait for their payments. The minister says all farmers who supplied their grain before the target was reached have already been paid. He says government has allowed the export of maize to enable farmers have a wider market to sell their commodities and has since encouraged farmers to take advantage of the opportunity.
The reason why we have allowed this export is such that we can generate funds. The proceeds from the export, especially on the Food Reserve Agency, will go towards paying farmers, because Food Reserve Agency was only initially targeted to buy 500,000 metric tons, which they have bought, and those farmers are paid. So all this excess of 300 initially, and now we are almost getting to 200, is totally beyond the budget concept. Therefore, we only pay the farmers once the proceeds have come. And this, we are telling the farmers, if you want to leave the maize with us, you must be ready to wait a little bit so that the proceeds can come, and then we give you the money. Very important question. I get figures because there was no budget line for that. I think it's quite understandable and appreciated, and farmers appreciated it.
A 27-year-old woman of Lusaka's Garden House Township has been left stranded after the 29-year-old husband abandoned her for giving birth to a child with special needs. This predicament has prompted Satrida Wamba and her 1-year-old son, Abraham Sikumbwe, to seek refuge from Concerned Citizens for Justice and the Human Rights Organization. Ms. Mwamba has explained that her husband, Abraham Sikumbwe, left her for another woman. She is now seeking intervention from the authorities to help her settle the matter, as she cannot afford to provide all the necessities required for the child with special needs, among other medical attention.
Stranded and alone with nowhere to go, Sastrida Mwamba of Lusaka's Garden House Township will have to think of means and ways on how she will survive and take care of a 1-year-old son after her husband abandoned her because she gave birth to a differently abled child.
Mwana nabwera nendo papa kwa mai choka kuliwa mai pesa nyumba muna wamba kugona mauti ambu kugona mauti ngakambapo ani ankatoska ni chingala ifi yende life ngakambapo sazinchinga life ndiye mwane mwana anabadwa olimba nabadwa hapa izopena na mama ndiopena.
She has alleged that her husband, whom she identified as Abraham Sikumbwe, abandoned them and went to live with another woman without any care of the child's medical treatment.
Nataba na phone ukatuma sifika ukatuma yake wanazima yazamke wenga beili ile la kana nafitiza mingi kutuma bazima achibulwa na kama na wewe na kapatia tisi singa kwanza usapota manimba vidi.
At only 27 years old, life seems harsh for Mwamba, as a little business she once depended on can no longer sustain her and the child.
Pane tukatundu lenze nina peve ndeto muntu twanatenga twagulisa ngabulaenda ni mwana ndeto tatu natuntu batenga konzi kulide bali nisi kandi mvutika bena mwana mane baza kasonda mukanizi mvira spesheke bakuta kamba kulide kulika vile bonse bali nisi ndeto tenkali mwana especially nani alimu isiri bwina kozi ku hospital nakamba tingati azapeze kapeo ishifaza kamutunga nongo blood ngati ilo saza kamutunga na babu tingati mulibe mtukuna pefuta za kamutunga kulokeni kukobo
o kumwamba
konse bamda kugama kulibe gama kumwamba kono ngokuze kamtai ndina kugera mukunda.
Meanwhile, the Justice and Human Rights Organization, where Mwamba reported a case, has expressed disappointment over the said issue.
And the man is nowhere to be seen. As an organization, we are very much saddened and we are very disturbed because when we look at the life of the child, it needs a total support from both parents, and also not only from the parents, but also as a community, we need to help this child. In terms of photo stuff, I think we'll take that responsibility. We'll take up that responsibility, and she's already registered with us as for now.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Over 212 pupils at Denset Hills Community School in Lusaka's Ngombe compound are at the age of becoming dropouts due to the collapse of the school finances caused by the indefinite closure of schools due to COVID-19. School head teacher Elizabeth Mwanza has told Camnet News in an interview that over 152 pupils do not pay school fees as they are either orphaned or come from a vulnerable home. Ms. Mwanza says the indefinite closure of schools since the outbreak of the pandemic has led to the school running out of the resources, which has now seen all teachers leave the school. She is appealing to the government and other organizations that look into the welfare of children to come on board and help save the school.
Denset Hill Community School in Lusaka's Ngombe compound has since 2014 been providing quality education to most vulnerable children in the community. However, since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic in the country, the indefinite closures of school now has a negative bearing on the finances of the school, which has now left the owner Elizabeth Mwanza with no option but to close the school. She has told Camnet News that 3/4 of pupils at the school do not pay any penny towards their education, and that the operations of the school have been dependent on the school fees that a few pupils who can afford to pay have been paying.
But right now, at the moment, this school is faced with a number of challenges, which I feel if they are not attended to, the school might be closed. Right now, as I'm speaking, I've got about 212 kids that are present, on which 152 they don't pay anything because they are either orphaned and vulnerable children. But the biggest challenge that the school is facing is that teachers that we had have left the school because I was unable to pay them. And also kids, these kids that have a heart to learn, they don't have where to sit. When it comes to learning, they sit down and use their laps, which is unfortunate because we are here to make sure that these children receive quality education.
And Angela Chilongo, a volunteer teacher, and Tombizondwa Mangina, a pupil at the school, have narrated the challenges that the school faces.
Some of the challenges I'm passing through as a teacher teaching at this school is that I have to mix 3 grades in one class. And that is a challenge to me as a teacher. Because 3 classes have got different learning methods. The babies and the middle class usually have activities like having building blocks, coloring and painting. And for the receptions are trained to go to grade 1 next year. So those are the big challenges that I'm facing as one teacher teaching 3 classes due to shortage of teachers at the school.
We are facing into many challenges. We don't have desks where we can be waiting. When writing, we use our laps. That's very painful for us. We are even asking for a bigger land so that we can be planting vegetables and even keep chickens so that it could be easy for us to find food. And I'm appealing for the government, His Excellency Dr. Hakainde Hichilema to help us to have desks and even a bigger land.
The school head teacher now wants the government and well-wishers to help facilitate for land where the school can engage in agriculture activities to help it become self-sustainable.
So my appeal to everyone is to come through to our school and help our kids with the necessary materials that they need for them to continue learning. In other way, maybe someone can just help us with a bigger land where ourselves as a school, we can venture into agriculture and be able to plant different types of crops or just to rear chickens so that the school can be self-sustainable, unlike each and every day asking for people to come through and help. My appeal goes to the new Minister of Education, Mr. Douglas Yakalima, to come through to our school and see for himself the things that the school is going through.
The importance of education cannot be overestimated, as it is the key to a bright future. It is a firm belief that all children deserve a chance to get a quality education. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
North Mid Assemblies of God Overseer Bishop Joshua Banda has called on the church leaders to foster the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic in their respective churches. In an interview with Camnet News, Dr. Banda says church leaders should encourage members to take advantage of the vaccination program across the country. The bishop says the church needs to keep their guard and support government in attaining the targeted threshold of vaccinating at least 70% the total eligible population.
On Thursday, October 7, 2021, government relaunched the COVID-19 vaccination program, which aims at increasing the awareness and acceptability of vaccines among citizens. This calls for collaboration among stakeholders in supporting government to achieve its target threshold of people to be vaccinated before the anticipated fourth wave. During an exclusive interview with Camnet TV, the North Mid Assembly of God Overseer, Bishop Joshua Banda, has called on the clergy to foster the fight against COVID-19 pandemic by encouraging their members to take advantage of the vaccination programs across the country.
Inclusive of the recent launch by our president, it's necessary for communities to respond and to be able to do so now. The reason being that this becomes an opportunity to take precaution and to take measures that can at least protect the body. And so from the church side, we will use the pulpit, as we have been doing, to encourage people to gain accurate knowledge on what can be done, accurate knowledge on the vaccinations themselves, allay fears, and share information to a level where people can feel the comfort to be able to take their families to access what's being offered. While it is true that those who may not take these measures may to some extent be more susceptible to infection and to spreading those infections, we should avoid stigmatizing. I think we should go more for positive and passionate, persuasive approaches that enable people to gather information. When they feel comfortable, then we lead them to the place where those services are available.
Meanwhile, Bishop Banda, who is also the National Day of Prayer Organizing Committee chairperson, has assured that the National Day of Prayer will take place as always and encourage citizens to turn up in numbers.
Religious affairs. While the ministry was there, yes, we worked with them, but now that the ministry is not there, it still does not make much difference because the mobilization has always been done in the churches. So we're still mobilizing on behalf of the churches and working with the government through the office of the vice president, because that's where some of those functions have gone. So there's still interaction between us and the government, and we work with the government of the day, no problem whatsoever, and we are trusting the Lord that as the churches gather together, the nation will indeed be in prayer.
Thank you so much.
Which will end about midday, then people can also go further back into the churches, continue to intercede until the end of the day at 18 hours when the fast is broken. But hey, let's gather Zambia. It's time to pray, seek the Lord to bring us together as a nation. And the 18th October is definitely the day to do that prayer, fasting, repentance, and reconciliation.
Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In other news, United Party for National Development Media Director Ruth Dante has trashed allegations by the opposition Patriotic Front that President Hakainde Hichilema has plotted the arrest of Kabushi Member of Parliament BOWMAN LUSAMBO. Speaking at a media briefing in LUSAKA Sunday, Ms. Dante says such allegations are political propaganda meant to dent the image of the President Hakainde Hichilema. Meanwhile, UPND Alliance Media Director Thabo Kabwana says it is shameful to see leaders such as Lumezi Independent Member of Parliament Munya Zulu trying to demean those in government as opposed to representing the people who voted him in Parliament.
Power is frequently defined by political scientists as the ability to influence the behavior of others with or without resistance. While politics have been labeled as a dirty game, political games are aimed at informing, motivating, or challenging people about politics and let them engage with different levels of political sphere through gameplay. In Zambia, however, politics have remained a game of name-calling and finger-pointing. As opposition, political parties have always tried to undermine the work of those in government. At a media briefing held in Lusaka Sunday, United Party for National Development Media Director Ruth Dante has wondered why those in the opposition Patriotic Front PF have continued to try and dent the image of the president by going as far as lying that President Hakainde Hichilema has plotted to arrest Kabushi lawmaker BOWMAN LUSAMBO.
We want to tell him that this is a new Dawn government, new Dawn administration. We do things differently. Now, for him to say President Hakainde Hichilema instructed police to arrest him for what, BOWMAN, for what? But you know, we have discovered that all the thought comes as a result of how the PF administration governed this country.
She adds that the party will respect the rule of law and not try to interfere in the operations of investigative bodies, as was the case with the previous government.
Oh, but BOWMAN, you have revealed that. But we want to tell you that under the new Dawn administration, government institutions are the ones that have a tool to deal with any issue.
And with regards to the fracas that took place at the High Court grounds on Friday, 8th October 2021, where UPND cadres are believed to have attacked a PF supporter, Ms. Dante had this to say.
Now, you are aware that Jerome Lata was murdered in cold blood in Mandevu when he was trying to put up posters. He was murdered. And then the people that are there, the youths that went trying to rescue him, saw the youth that hit him and murdered. They've been looking for that youth. So what they wanted there was to tell police, this is a man that you want, please arrest him. That is what was happening.
And UPND Alliance Media Director Thabo Kabwana says leaders such as Lumezi Independent Member of Parliament Mino Zulu do not deserve to be in Parliament, as their focus is not to serve the people who voted for them, but rather demean those in government positions.
He's not spoken about the people of Lumezi constituents. His job has been to try and demean His Excellency the President by going for his senior officials in government, such as the Secretary to Cabinet and the Minister of Energy. And you saw that in his presser, he refers to the Minister of Energy, trying to demean the Minister of Energy, trying to show that the Minister of Energy has been found wanting in cases, and therefore he's a corrupt character, and therefore he doesn't deserve to be the minister. We want to put it on record, and we hope that Munia will learn a thing or two from this, because I'm very certain that he will be taken to task. I'm certain that he will be sued in court.
The wrangles continues. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Media News, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. A LUSAKA man abandons wife for giving birth to a child with a disability. The UPND dispels claims that President Hakainde Hichilema is plotting to arrest BOWMAN LUSAMBO. Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Remember to always wash your hands for at least 20 seconds or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid crowded places and always have your mask on. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.